wise. So me history ya maandamano pia nimeanza kuja kwa hii side nyingine.
Side gani hiyo?
Hii side I'm think we should use our brain. I feel like as young generation we're not using our brain to much higher extent because just to think of it. Before you save the world, save yourself first. Okay, tunaweza kuwa tunaandamana, but what have you done for yourself? What have you done to build yourself personally? Una get ndio sawa, unaandamana uchumi ni ngumu. But to what extent umefika wewe binafsi umetry? How hard have you tried? No, life is hard to everyone. Life is hard. So that's why death has to be easy. Umefanya nini wewe mwenyewe kujiestablish? Umefanya nini wewe mwenyewe kuensure that upper brain upstairs iko juu, awareness yako iko poa, umerealize how the government works. You know, people suffer because they don't know how money works, they don't know how the government works, and they don't know how their brain works. So maandamano is not going to solve anything. That's one thing for sure. Hata tuandamane aje, this I'm telling free to my fellow Gen Z. It will never help us. Kwa sababu tunaendelea pia ni globalization. Each and every country they're trying to oppress their citizens. It's not just happening to Kenya, it's happening to the rest of the world. Killer citizens in the rest of the world are being oppressed to a way that the reason of oppressing was saying, if you oppress people, they'll always be dependent to you. That is the motion to each and every government. And hata tukimadwa aje, the international government wataingililia. Hata Larry Madowo aende aje kwa CNN, haitusaidia. Sisi tunafaa kujirestructure. Tuache story ya maandamano, tujirestructure. Let's use another fight.
I like what solution apart from maandamano can you suggest that Gen Zs can use?
Gen Zs first should understand how the government works. Just start there. If you want to know the root problem of to know the root problem of something and get a solution of it, you have to dig deep into it, into the roots. How did government start? It all starts from there. If we have these powers that they do have, which is just knowledge, nothing else. If we have this knowledge, we'll have the cure for all these things. Going to the street will just make many people losing lives.
But do you think because of knowledge that's why we go kwa street?
No.
Because umesema we should know how the government is working. And this government is not working for us as youths and Gen Zs. Unapata tumeenda shule, tumesoma, hakuna majobs. First things, tunakuwa depressed, we are getting into drugs. Ama if you are creative, you are lucky enough, you can come back to creative economy. This is not something mimi nimesoma. Hakuna job, unaona? So hii government kai work. Okay, I believe hapo umesema point. Hatufai tu maandamane pia without a plan. Like inafaa tukuwe na brains knowledge of how to plan these things. But ukamuangalie hii gava it's not working. Yani I work tu kabisa bro. Nothing. Can you just mention for me anything kwa gava umeona iki work?
Sawa. Bro, mimi naweza argue on my thoughts.
No, it's allowed. You can have different thoughts.
Government is never there to help people. That's one thing everybody should know.
Okay.
Government is not there to help you. Government is there to make you need their help.
Okay.
Because it's all about rule. This thing all started with a group of people who needed independency and control. And they spread all over the world. So it started having self-independence. Have your own self-independence. Live against the status quo. Imagine if majority wangekuwa na against the status quo. Let me give you an example. Apple iliformiwa to make more citizens live against the status quo. In turn, government ilikuja kuwatafuta wasaidia na technology. It's just work that way. We get our ways of living.
I'll have a different opinion.
Nice one.
You've given a very good example of Apple.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg.
Apple, not Mark Zuckerberg.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, and wao best yake Walker.
Crook, anaitwa something Tim Crook kama Tim Cook. Tim Cook. Yeah, Tim Cook. So even before Apple, that government made. Tumesema government is not there to help, but it's there to build those systems that can make us sustain ourselves. Unaona? Hiyo Apple before hata ikuje, there were systems. Kuna vitu zinaitwa tax incentives. Kuna vitu zinaitwa yani gava, unaona hii gava inaweza hata ende chukue kampuni kama Samsung ikuje iwape tax incentives hapa. Wafunge warehouse assembled. Like that apple is being assembled in China. That's because the government in China is giving them that system, that environment that inaweza wa. But ukujiangalia gava yetu, if you come with a business idea, they'll try to frustrate you because the few people wenye wako ndani, they will want to make the profits for themselves. Unaona? So hii ina cause frustration. Si Gen Z, we are still young. We don't know how to react to things. Tuko na emotional intelligence. Yani hatuna hiyo emotional intelligence kubwa sana.
Wengi.
But at the same time, si ndo tunafeel kitu hapa kwa ground because unapata vitu yani systems ingekuwa ina work. If you had an idea, tuseme like you are a very inventive person, you know, you have an inaitwaje that you are Bailit. Yes. Bailit shoppers. Yeah. If the government was very ingekuwa inatupea those systems zenye zina work, by now Bailit hata ingekuwa multinational company because kungekuwa na vitu kama incentives. Walifungwa youth fund wameiba yote, unaona? Si tunaandamana juu ya vitu kama corruption.
Okay, naweza sema the problem is country yetu ina grow at a time where the world is headed to a different direction. That's why hata tukiandamana for taxes zirudi chini, it won't happen.
But those taxes are not working, bro. Even if they take them,
they're not working, bro. Ndio maana tunakushow whatever is happening to the rest of the world has gotten us to a position in sipoa, kwa sababu ni the rest of the world are working to globalization, and one key way to globalization is ensuring that the government has total control of its wananchi. The first way of having total control of wananchi is to ensure that you oppress them to a totality. That's what the government is doing. Oppress them to a totality that they have to only you need to only be their way of survival. And just to think of this is why technology came up. That's why Bitcoin came up. So that we should not just depend on the government. We should start thinking on other ways. No. We should broaden our ways, because each and every time we are thinking of the government, yet we have the internet. Which for me, do you know what I say? Nasemanga, knowing people, knowing people is strength. Knowing yourself is power. Understanding AI is freedom.
Knowing just repeat.
Knowing people is strength. Knowing yourself is power. And understanding AI is freedom.
Speaking of AI is the next big thing. Sindio? Acha to digress kidogo from the government.
Yes.
Sindio? AI, mention AI is the next big thing, by the way. And umesema knowing AI is
freedom.
So kawe ni our community or our fan, manze anza kustudy kitu tunaitwa artificial intelligence, because unaweza automate a lot of things through that. Hata hizi vitu wasome kunda za Kasongo, the posters, what have they been using? They have been using AI, Grok AI to create those images. So imagine if you can fight the government using AI, what much can we do if the largest population of Kenya wage come to study AI? So yeah, I think we should just have an open mind. Maandamano si solutions ya kila kitu. And pia Gen Z pia wanakata stories za kuwa na leaders. Leadership is very important. That's why umesema government pia iko hapo. Sio the leadership. When
we talk about leadership, not everybody is a leader. True. Everybody can lead themselves, but there are people who have leadership quality. Unaona, in each and every group kuna sana kuwa na leadership quality.
True. Unaona? Ile unaona tu jamaa, this guy is a leader.
This guy is sasa ukisema ati we are leaderless.
You must have a leader, bro.
Because there's nothing new under the sun.
True.
And there's nothing new that will come under the sun. Even technology was here before us. The Egyptian pyramids used technology. The only thing that is that human beings have been made in a way that the people who are to come after us, they will never get to know what happened before.
That's how it was not documented.
That's how the human race is.
True.
That's how God created everything, and it's written in the Bible. Read your Bibles very well, even if you're not a believer. Don't read it in terms of being a believer. Read it in terms of somebody who seek knowledge. Seek knowledge and you shall find it. They are very simple.
So, speaking of solutions.